Hey guys, welcome to A.F.C. Curtis. I'm, of course, Curtis, the host of the channel. You know me. But I'm also joined with a special guest today. Not just any special guest, though. He is the captain of Valor FC, Mr. Dylan Carreiro. How's it going there, Dylan?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm joined by Valor's captain. Of course, I'm doing great. Um, Dylan, I want to bring you on today on the channel because I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people that follow my channel, especially that kind of want to know what it was like to be an athlete in the bubble, in the PEI bubble for the 2020 CPL season or tournament, whatever you want to call it. What was life like in the bubble?
Yeah, it was a bit different. Obviously, there was a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions that I guess us as professionals aren't used to, or even people in general aren't used to. But you could take the pros and the cons away from it. It was the cons were obviously, you're stuck in a place and you can't really leave unless you're going to training or you're going to a game. But the pros were getting to know your teammates and understanding them more on a personal level. And, you're with them every day, pretty much every hour of the day. We try to find our free time a little bit, but, and when you're in a bubble like that and in a tournament style for a month, it's all about football. And it's pretty much what you think about and pretty much what you dream, you sleep, and what you do during the day is everything football.
So you guys didn't get any like special amenities, like any special player lounges, or get to go do activities, maybe within the hotel even, or any of that, or did you guys get at least a personal chef or something for the team?
No, no personal chef. We shared the chef for between the whole eight teams, but we had our own team room, and the team room was just a massive hall split into kind of three different sections. One section was like our media area. The next section was our dinner time and dinner area, and then the other session was our physio treatment room, and a little bit of like a gym, kind of bikes and foam rolling and all that stuff, just for recovery. So we had little sections. We also had a little ping pong table in the room, and we were fortunate enough to have a very nice deck behind us, which overlooked the sea and people walking outside. It was a bit weird though. We were gated, so we couldn't go near the gate to kind of to speak to people. But they seen us and they kind of recognized us in a sense because they knew the island games was happening there, and they stopped for a chat. And sometimes it was good, just to chat to some other people. So
These were like the people that live in PEI or like other players and stuff. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Very cool.
So we have like every room, every team has kind of like a deck where you're able
Okay.
to like walk out, enjoy the sunshine, the day. There's some seats, have a drink, coffee, and enjoy some fresh air. And then obviously there's people walking off on the boardwalk, the strip around there. So fortunate enough, we were right by the water, beautiful area, and we were able to speak to some people from a distance, I guess you could say.
Mhm. What was the day-to-day schedule like? Was it literally just you wake up, you eat, you go to training, you come back to your hotel, you just chill out the rest of the day, maybe review tapes of your next game, and so on? Is that how it was, or?
In a sense, when we're preparing for a game, yeah, it's you wake up, you have a team breakfast, you go to team training, you come back, you have a team lunch, you have a little bit of a rest, and then team dinner, and then right after dinner we would have our meeting and just analyzing. If it was a day before the game, we'd analyze the opponents. It was two games. We'd have a look at the last games that they've played and kind of understand where we can exploit, where they can possibly hurt us, and how we can stop that. But there was a lot of days where it was get your mind off football and you enjoy your day. So there was a few days where it was just lunch, breakfast, dinner, or breakfast, lunch, dinner, sorry, and enjoy your day with your teammates. Which is very good because sometimes, obviously, when you're in a bubble like that and you have 34 days together and it's football, 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 it's very difficult. And like if you're at home in Winnipeg, you leave football and you have your kid, you have your wife, you're away from football, which is kind of a little bit of a breathtaking moment for some of the players, and that's one of the cons that was effectful, was that we weren't able to get away from football in a sense, and it was always there. So, but no, it was very good. It was very enjoyable, and the pros. There's a lot more pros than cons, which is very good.
Did the league you spoke kind of for a second there about just kind of mentally getting away from the game? Did the league have anything, obviously, with COVID-19? I think a big struggle with it. I know I've dealt with it. I know friends and family close to me have dealt with it. But just like the whole mental aspect, it plays on you mentally, being in a confined space for a very long time, not being able to really interact with anybody else. Did the league or the clubs or whatever, did they do anything specifically to kind of help you mentally besides taking or was it just the days off that you would
Yeah,
get in between games?
the league offered a psychologist
Oh,
for all the teams. So Rob Gale took a great effect in that, and we had psychology meetings through Zoom as a team just to kind of get away and just teach us some things while when things might not be going right, or things are getting tough in a bubble aspect. How can we get our focus away from that? So we were able to do that. The league also set up. We went to we went sightseeing a little bit on the bus, and we stayed on the bus, and we just went to see the longest bridge I think in the world, which is like 13 kilometers, which is incredible. We also just drove past. We drove to an ocean and just enjoyed the view there, and so they did some very good things just to get us away from football in a sense on some days off.
that's good. I think as much as we all love football, and as much as I love football, I would probably go stir crazy in the first week there if it was just game, day off game or whatever at the hotel. You spoke about talking about just seeing your teammates 24/7 there, and yeah, you had some time away maybe from them, but how was that aspect? Because if it's a regular normal season, you go to the practice, then you go home, you're away from them, you come back for a game, you see them again. Maybe you hang out with them outside of practice. You're seeing them 24/7. Did anybody how was that aspect? How did it maybe change team dynamics for the either the better or for worse? Maybe you're just tired of seeing these guys after week one. How did that change the team dynamics?
You know what? It's funny you said that because we talk about it all the time right now. Is we had such a great camaraderie, sorry, in the
Mhm.
group, and there was not one fight. There was not one argument. It was the team aspect, the environment that we all put ourselves into, and the respect we gave to each other. It's surprising. I'm not gonna lie, it's surprising. You're with a team for 34 days, and usually some people get on people's nerves, and that's understandable. But with this team, it was great. The respect we had for each other. The jokes that we had throughout the whole tournament. It was enjoyable, and I was excited to see my teammates for breakfast. I was excited to see them on the bus. I was excited to see them for dinner and after meetings and in my room, just having a chat and having a laugh. So we can't complain about that. It was great throughout the whole group, and everybody in our group, the 29 people that came, media and staff and coaching staff and everybody included, just were excellent. The personalities, the off-field antics that we were as a team. It was great. It was very enjoyable.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. I was like, you know what? It must be like going with a bunch of brothers, and after a while, you're all just picking on one guy or something,
Oh, actually, it was
pulling
not bad.
pranks.
It was not bad. You know what the worst thing was, and I'll be honest, it was to see the team that we just faced, especially if we lost or if something happened on the field. How are we going to react when we get back into the hotel because we're just about to see them in 30 minutes again? So that was the difficult one. There was no arguments with any other teammates. It was just with team. Sorry, it was just more how do we get out of that space and focus on our task and what's next instead of maybe wanted to go and slap that guy in the head because of picked you in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was probably other than that, the team aspect, it was great
Did you ever see the other teams when you're at the hotel?
all the time. So our team rooms were like back to back to back to back to back with
Oh,
beside
okay.
each other. So once you leave your room, you have your mask on. Um, you're socially distanced. We were all negative tests, and every testing was negative. So we were all safe. We were all in the bubble. We had chats with other team members from other teams, and that's a good part is you'll never be able to have that aspect again where you have 8 teams together and you can chat and you pick someone else's brain for a little bit and just understand their side of football and how they think and understand the game and stuff. So it's great it was a great kind of experience to have that.
Yeah, I bet it just seems very community based almost that whole tournament. Everybody was together all the time.
Yeah.
Now with the condensed, because it wasn't that long. I mean, the first stage or 7 games was at 3.5 weeks or something like that. Plus, I guess the entry week of you guys coming in. You played quite a lot of games in a short amount of time. Let's be honest here. Do you think that that condensed schedule of having 7 games in 3 weeks, do you think that that hurt? And I'm talking about Valor specifically now. Do you think that kind of hurt them in the 2020 season just because there were so many injuries? I mean, you guys were at one point, I think, on your fourth choice left back. You had so many guys just to get injured. I'm sure guys that played through injuries through this tournament. Do you think the condensed schedule hurt the team?
Definitely. I mean, it hurt everybody in a sense, and if every team. But the biggest thing is, you're off. The last season, we were off October 19th, 2019. We came back March 4th or something, 2020. We had 4 days of training and then 3.5 months off again because of COVID. We come back, we have about 2 weeks to prepare as a team because we were going through stages of play. And, not playing from October 19th to I'm sorry, I don't remember the first game, but I think it's like August 13th or August 14th.
Yeah.
To not play that long, we knew there was going to be injuries and situations, and it was just how can we recover? If we can recover quickly, how can we adapt to that? And a lot of the boys did a good job with that, and obviously it's unfortunate that some guys were getting injured and dealing with that. And it's nothing towards them. They worked very hard to get into shape and get into the season and be part of the team and have that feeling. But it's when you have such a condensed schedule like that, and we were literally playing game, day off, training, game, day off, training, 4 games in a row like that. It's very tough for anybody that's been off for 10 months, especially it doesn't matter what you do away from football during COVID-19. When you're playing in games that are fast paced and, the turning and the turf that you're on and just all of that added together, it causes problems on the bodies. And, we were a bit unfortunate with that. And, I think the other big part was that we were a new team, in 7 games. It's very hard to kind of be prepared and ready for those 7 games in a sense where if we had 28 games, every single game you've seen, we were getting better and better and better because we were getting more games together, more situations where the game was at good speed, where we were understanding our movements in the attacking third, where we were good defensively and a good block. Every game got better, and then 7 games and we're done. But I've always said it, and I said it again, I'll say it again, at 28 games, this team would have caused a lot of problems in this league, and we would have been right up there to fight for the championship for sure.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, look how close you guys. I really was like, I think this team is going to finish at least top 4 and make it to that next stage. Because I mean, you guys, despite all the adversity, all the injuries, you guys brought it. And I know myself as a season ticket holder for Valor FC, comparing last year's team to this year's team, very much improved this year. I mean, wonderful job. All the scouts, everybody, the coaches, Rob, they all did great this past offseason, just building this team up for 2020. Talking about some more positives moving forward, what are some positives that the fans could look forward to moving forward from the 2020 season into 2021? I mean, like you said, we've already seen some improvements here. Can you speak on some more positives here that the fans maybe can look forward to moving forward now after, I think, a pretty good 2020 season?
Yeah, I mean, some positives is that a lot of the boys will definitely want to stay. There's a big group that are really happy and they really want to come back, and they're ready to compete for 28 games. We talk about it all the time in our group chat, our team group chat, that 7 games isn't enough. What we can do in this league is going to be something big, and if we all stick together and stay together, this team's going to do a great job next season. So what I can tell the fans is there's a lot of boys that are really happy about staying, and now it's just up to the club to make it happen and get the boys back, because I think it would be a great team.
I know, I agree. I think if they could keep this core together next year, add maybe 1 or 2 pieces, I think they're contenders, to be honest with you. I mean, 100%. Now looking ahead, now obviously we got this humongous 6 or 7 month off season now staring us right in the face. what are your plans for this coming off season? What are you going to try and do? Because I mean, this is a long break. This is longer than I think the last off season was, what, 6 months from October to March. This one's 7, maybe longer, depending on COVID. What are you doing mentally, physically to kind of prepare for the off season? What are you going to do this off season to kind of get into that shape and stay into that shape come hopefully March for training camp?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing for me, the first year, I was dealing with an ACL, coming back from an ACL injury. My first year as a professional again, and I was taking baby steps, and I can only get better and better. And this year I came in and I was ready, and I worked really hard in the off season. This off season, and I just want to keep working hard. I want to get bigger physically. As we all know, the game's getting more physical, more aggressive, a lot more speed. I think personally myself, I have the technical ability and the quality to play in this league. But you can always get better physically, and that's the biggest thing for me is working on my physical aspect and just getting stronger and bigger, and just keep focusing on the good things that I'm doing right now and the technical aspect, and just trying to put that all together within the 7 months that we have off now.
And you do that by just probably going to the gym then too. I think gym is probably the big thing to do to help get to that level.
Yeah, I get a personal trainer in the off season, so I work with someone, and we focus on just the main important things that I need to work on. So I go there 3-4 times a week, and then I do my own thing on the side, and then the football comes when we have some space in the turf fields that we're able to get, because obviously with the winter and the snow, it's very difficult to train and be outside. But that's why the biggest thing from November to January, February is that gym, and just working on the physical aspect and getting prepared for that.
Yeah, and I got one more question to go here. I want to thank you to Dylan for coming on, doing this interview, and just kind of giving us a bit of the insights into the bubble life. This last question here is just kind of like a broad overview of just Canadian soccer now. And how do you think that this off season, you can even just say this entire year 2020 because of COVID, how big of a hurt was this for player development in Canada? I mean, there's so many months off, so many youth leagues shut down or minimal training, maybe not even any games this year. I think in Winnipeg, we sort of got games together in August and September here. And now this long winter coming up. How big of a hurt do you think that this will be for player development, if any?
I definitely think it hurts. I mean, I think it hurts everybody in the world that play football, but especially Canada, just because of our winter time, and the spaces in the turf and the gyms. It's very limited. But I'm a coach in Ontario when I'm here in my off season, so but talking to the other coaches, a lot of kids left because the parents just don't feel it safe enough, and there's some very good players that are at the youth that possibly could stop playing for a year or two, and it might affect their development, and it's difficult, and it's unfortunate just because of what's going on in the world. But we just got to make sure that when things go back to normal, we have the coaches to get the players going again, understanding what needs to be done, and just working on their technical aspect of the game and their tactical aspect. Because at a young age, the physical aspect will come when they grow and when they get older, but it's about learning how to get technical as quickly as possible, understanding your right foot, your left foot, the way you pass the ball, the way you take a touch, where you take a touch. Those are the most important things as a young kid. So if you have the good coach, I wouldn't say the good coaches, the right coaches to kind of teach them and understand those things as quickly as possible, and you keep being repetitive, I think we'll get back on track, and the development won't hurt as much. But it just needs to happen. And obviously with COVID right now, we just hope that it goes away as soon as possible so that we can get back to normal and just enjoy life, and and let the kids enjoy playing the sport that we all love, soccer.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I just pray that we can get rid of this thing by March so we can have a regular, normal season next year with fans in the stands. Would love to see those Atletico Ottawa fans in the stands. I'd like to be back at IG Field watching some Valor games. But thank you, Dylan, for coming on. I want to thank everybody at Valor Football Club for helping me put this together. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I hope I gave you, and Dylan gave you especially, just that insight that you all wanted of just life in the bubble. Other than that, you can also follow Dylan. Dylan, do you want to plug your social media?
Yeah, my Instagram is my name, Dylan Carreiro. And then my Twitter handle is Dylan Carreiro with two O's at the end.
Dylan Carreiro. Oh, that's what they say when they squat. Anyway, thank you, Dylan, and see you guys next week.